Hi guys, so this video is very sensitive. I'm gonna try to talk as not as fast, because sometimes I talk faster than getting my thoughts together and I fumble my words and say the wrong word or something like that. It's very sensitive. I've actually was supposed to be talking about this in 2021, and every time I wanted to talk about it, it's a very sensitive topic because I've been going through this myself. And I wanted to educate people and teach people about this. It's not to put anyone down or anything like that. It's really to educate people, because we go through some stuff, and sometimes when we are not aware that we're going through it, we tend to gaslight ourselves, or we tend to believe the gaslight that others place upon us, and we tend to think that maybe it's not true. Maybe, we're not really going through this. Maybe we're just crazy, etc. And God is really warning us about stuff like this. And I know a lot of people, bring up the scripture, honor thy mother, thy father. You know what I mean? And that's, of course, we have to honor, but people also weaponize that as well and expect for you to stay in an abusive situation because of that. Expect you to be someone else's supply because of that. And that's not what God wants. That's not what God wants. When I put out videos telling people to be cautious of specific family members or bloods because of covenant curses, and family can be the first to betray you. Look what happened to Joseph. You see what I mean? Look what happened to Joseph. And especially when you're in an abusive family dynamic, or when you have a mother or a father who is narcissistic, who's a narcissist, it's kind of hard for you to amend things. It's kind of hard for you to continue to fight for something when someone doesn't want to change. It's hard for you to continue to try to build a relationship when this person just consistently tries to tear you down, pull you down. Now, not everybody's going to resonate with this message. I'm not expecting everyone to resonate with this message, nor am I expecting everyone to understand this message, because they don't go through it. So when you don't go through something, sometimes it's not going to be, you're not going to understand this. You're not going to see my perspective or other people's perspectives if you don't go through this yourself. Okay, I'm going to be strictly talking about, because this is what the big thing. I'm going to strictly be talking about mothers who are narcissistic mothers, daughters who are dealing with narcissistic mothers, daughters who have a hard time, progressing because of that, daughters who chose a different path than their mothers, or who chose to do things differently, and it has caused a bit of hostility between the mother and the daughter, or it has caused a lot of turmoil in the family. And there's a lot of things that I wrote down. I had to write this. I've been writing this down since 2021, and I want to say, before I get started, I want to say to you guys, if you're dealing with something like this, the best thing to do is to pray and to ask God. The best thing to do is to pray and ask God what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you the signs. I'm just going to tell you the kind of stuff you may have been going through. And I'm just going to tell you based on my experience and based on what God told me to specifically do for me. And in hopes that maybe this can motivate you to pray more about it. In hopes this can motivate you to fast about it. In hopes that this can kind of give you some clarity as to what you're experiencing. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to know that the person that brought you in this world hates your guts. The person that brought you in this world wants to take you out this world. The person that brought you in this world competes with you. The person that brought you in this world envies you. The person that brought you in this world is trying to destroy your life, wants to destroy your life. It's not easy to accept the fact this person that brought you in this world abandons you. The person that brought you in this world rejects you. The person that brought you in this world tears you down. It's not easy to accept that. It's not easy to accept that, nor is it easy for outsiders to accept that. So when people hear about stories like this, they dismiss it. They dismiss it. They think that there's no way a mother can do that to their child. There's no way a mother can do spell work on her daughter. There's no way a mother can try to ruin a child's relationships. There's no way a mother could be paying witch doctors to block their daughter. There's no way a mother can be jealous of their daughter or envious of their daughters. People will think this stuff because they have not experienced it. I'm sorry you came from a perfect household or a good relationship with your mom that it's hard for you to understand those who don't. But it happens out here. It's real out here in this world. Okay? Your enemy could be right under your nose. I'm not saying not to honor your mother and father. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying not to. You have to honor your mother and father. The Bible says this. But you can also honor your mother and father by loving them, respecting them, from a distance. You can honor your mother and father without putting yourself back in an abusive relationship, putting your life at risk, putting your children at risk. Do you see what I'm saying? Because not everyone that has a child is supposed to be a mother. Not everyone that has a child deserves to be a mother. Don't you guys hear about stories of mothers just throwing their kids in the garbage, or throwing their kids in garbage bags, or mothers, abusing their children? And you see these stories on the news, and then you say to yourself, oh my gosh, that person wasn't supposed to be a mother. Now you're telling me that God is going to tell a child to stay in a relationship like that? You're telling me that if a mother is doing spell work on her own daughter, God is going to tell that child to build a relationship with that mom? What God says is to forgive the mom. God says forgive her, but God is not going to say to be silly enough to keep staying around her if God knows she's still going to keep doing it. See, when you're dealing with a narcissistic mom, narcissistic mothers are good at hiding stuff. Narcissistic people in general are good at hiding stuff, but narcissistic mothers are good at hiding stuff. They don't want the world to see how they treat their daughter, so they treat their daughter a certain way behind closed doors. Hence why when you were a child, most of you guys that are dealing with this, when you were a child growing up, hence why behind closed doors you were abused. You were physically abused, you're emotionally abused, you were put down a lot, you were blamed a lot for everything. You were deprived of certain necessities, and in front of everybody else, you were praised. In front of everybody else, they were nice to you. In front of everybody else, they would only, it's like a mother buying a daughter an outfit just to go to a birthday party, just to make it look like the daughter has clothes. But behind closed doors, the daughter doesn't have no clothes. Let's just say she's walking around school with a hole in her shoe. Do you get what I'm saying? But then, or it's like you're being mistreated behind closed doors, but in front of everybody else, they're seeing something completely different. And then those who noticed how your mom was treating you, those who noticed it, your mom had a falling out with them. Those who had the guts to correct your mom on how they treated you, your mother had a falling out with them. They're no longer friends, or they're no longer together. And then when that happens, you're blamed for it. So because you were mistreated and someone called out your mother for mistreating you, your mother blamed you for them falling out when it's really the mother's fault. See, a narcissistic mother will blame her child for everything. So I'm going to give you guys some list of things that I went through that you guys may be going through. And one of the number one things here I have on my list is to get out of denial. Denial is what will keep you stagnant. Denial is what will keep you stuck. Denial is what will keep you going back to that abusive relationship with that mother. Denial is what will block your progression. Coming out of denial and facing the fact is how you're going to actually heal. It's how you're actually going to make sure that you don't take on these traits. It's how you're going to actually protect yourself, protect your life, protect your future, protect your mental peace, protect the purpose that God has for you. Because narcissists, they want to destroy. And if you actually come out of denial and you say, I no longer want to be this person's supply anymore, right? You have to understand, because they cannot take any credit now for your progressions. They can't take any credit now for you healing and making something of yourself. If they can't take any credit for it, their main mission is to destroy you. So the first step is getting out of denial. And this is why I said, if you're going through this, to pray about it. Pray about it. If you feel like your parent is doing witchcraft on you, pray about it. I was in denial for a long time, and God revealed it to me. And she's not doing it, but she's paying someone, right? And she's been doing it my whole life. And God revealed it to me back to back with reoccurring dreams. And I fasted, even visions. And then I had to connect the dots, and I had to put the puzzle piece together. And I noticed so many things when I put the puzzle pieces together, down to how I was treated when I was a child, down to the things that were said to me. I realized that, you know, wow, like she really, really hated me, you know. And I'm not gonna go into too much details, but there was things I overheard as a child, growing up. I've heard conversations, and I've heard these words come out her mouth as well, right? So being in denial can block you. Being in denial, you'll end up being on supply for the rest of your life if you stay in denial. Being in denial will prevent you from connecting the dots. You have to connect the dots. Okay, when you start to connect the dots, you can start to put the piece together. You'll understand the only way to progress is to admit that you finally accept that. And then when you accept it, you can heal and grow from it, or it's going to destroy you. Okay, I'm telling you, it's going to destroy you, especially if you're a child of God and you have a purpose. Being in denial can destroy you. Okay, so connect the dots. So the other thing I have on my list is like your feelings being dismissed as a child. Narcissistic mothers dismiss your feelings as a child. If the narcissistic mother hurts you or emotionally abuses you, or, you know, and you want to talk about it, they'll dismiss it. So your feelings being dismissed as a child will also be dismissed as an adult. So now that you're an adult and you can actually reach out to your mom and be like, hey, this is what I went through as a child. This is what hurt me. And you're really, you know, you're an adult now. You're confident now. You want to reach out. You want to try to like mend things. Your feelings will be dismissed. So how your feelings are dismissed is they will deny. They will deny everything and make it seem like you're just crazy. You're just hearing stuff. They never said what they said to you. You're imagining certain things growing up that never happened. You get what I'm saying? That's dismissing your feelings, okay? Or dismissing your feelings by blaming you. They'll say the reason why I did this was because you did this. The reason why I did that is because you did that. So completely just dismissing your feelings as a child is the same thing as being an adult. If they dismiss your feelings as an adult, you got to pay attention to that, because that means there's going to be no progression. If the person wanted there to be progression, the mother wanted there to be progression, there would be a sit down. They would have apologized. You get what I'm saying? There would be, okay, let's talk about this. But if the person is consistently in denial, denying what they did and trying to blame it on you, and they haven't changed, they're doing the exact same thing they did to you as a child, and that's a big red flag. Okay. Another thing is, blaming you for everything, basically not taking accountability for their actions. So the reason why a lot of narcissistic mothers end up envying their daughters or jealous of their daughters is because they blame their daughters for a lack of progression in their own life. So let me give you an example with me. So I was supposed to be aborted. I wasn't supposed to, because I'm here and God wanted me here. But the mission was to abort me. I wasn't aborted. Okay. And because I wasn't aborted, it did slow down things in my mom's life. And I just found out last night. I'm being transparent with you guys. This is a very hard topic to talk about. I get emotional and choked up. But I found out from God last night, because God was revealing more things to me. And this is how I knew I was supposed to put this video out. And I said to God, why is she doing this to me? Like, why is she still doing this? Like, what did I do? And he literally told me, he said she's blaming you for a lot of things that went wrong in her life. So narcissistic mothers don't like to take responsibility for their actions. They want to blame everybody else for how things are going in their life. So your narcissistic mother may blame you for everything that went wrong in her life. She may say that you held her back. She may say because of you is why she couldn't do a specific career. She may say her progression was blocked because of you. She may say that she couldn't live her dream because of you. See, sometimes as parents, because I'm a mom myself, we have to make certain sacrifices for our children, and we can't always do what we want to do because we got to put our kids first, right? And sometimes, see, a normal mother will understand that and will be accepting of that and will love her child regardless. A narcissistic mom will hold that grudge towards her child, and they will hold on to that their whole life, and they will revolve every single failure in their life. They'll revolve it on that child, and they'll say that it's because of you why I couldn't do this. It's because I had to sacrifice this as to why I couldn't do this. And when they're at a place in their life now where they look back and they wish they were able to accomplish certain things, you know, you're going to get the blame for it. They're gonna blame you, even though you never asked to be in this world, even though you didn't ask to come here. God just brought you here. You'll still be blamed for it. So then what ends up happening is when the daughter gets older and the daughter is able to go after her dreams, the daughter is not revolving her dreams around her mom's dream. The daughter is going after all what she wants to do. The daughter is progressing, and then the narcissistic mom sees that. There ends up being envy. There ends up being envy towards the daughter. There ends up being envy towards the daughter's appearances. There ends up being envy because the daughter is further along in her life at that age than she is at her age. Do you get what I'm saying? And seeing you happy may trigger her. Her not having any type of control over your life will trigger her, and she will think back at the failures she has in her life, and she'll sit there and try to blame you for it, right? And so you being happy may just end up triggering her. So you'll get blamed for a lot of stuff, okay? And you'll get blamed for the failures, the way their life is, and they'll also get upset when others stick up for you. When others have your back, they'll get upset when others have your back, okay? Another thing that narcissistic moms do is that they're very, very they're very fake in front of other people when it comes to you. So in front of other people, they'll want to glorify your success. They'll want to glorify your success in front of other people. So if you succeed at something, even though they told you won't succeed at it, even though they put you down, they told you not to do it behind closed doors, they made you feel low and confident when you were doing it, and then they see that it actually works, they'll try to take some sort of progression or some sort of credit for your success. Like they'll want to tell people, oh, my daughter does this, my daughter does that, and take some type of credit for it. And when you actually say, nope, I'm not going to lie to take credit for something that you told me I wasn't able to do, and you actually remove yourself as a supply, they'll try to destroy whatever is bringing you success. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, if I can't take the way how narcissistic moms think is, if I can't take credit for your success, I'm going to destroy it so you can't have it. If I can't have success in my life, I'm destroying every success you have in your life. Like that's how narcissistic moms think about their daughters. Okay, I'm talking about narcissistic moms, not sons or whatever. I might do a video on that, but I'm talking about where I have my experiences from. This is very hard for me to talk about. Where I have my experiences from, and God pushed me to talk about it. Okay, so another thing is, yeah, they're very fake in front of other people. Okay, and another thing you'll notice is that when a narcissistic mom is doing spell work on you, or they have someone working on you, you'll get sick around them. So every time you're around this parent, for some reason, you get sick. Every time you're around this mom, you can't progress. You'll break out, your hair is going to fall out. You'll notice that your life just falls downhill when you're around them. But when you're away from them, you notice that you're healthy. You notice that you're progressing, you feel confident, you don't have anyone putting you down, you're not walking on eggshells, and it's kind of like you feel like you're actually progressing in life, and you'll see doors open and opportunities coming in for you, right? When you're on a narcissistic parent, it's like your life is blocked. It's like you're stuck. You can't, doors are not opening for you. You feel like there's a hinder in your growth. And then on top of that, like I got really, really sick a lot when I was around my mom. And I was in denial. I got really, really sick a lot. I didn't know that she was doing spell work on me. I didn't want to believe it, that she was paying people. And because she's very good at hiding it, a narcissistic mom will have pity in front of others in front of you. So it's like they'll show some type of remorse and emotions in front of other people. Let me give you an example. So when I was a kid, I was suicidal. I'm going to be honest. And it's because of the way I was treated, right? And when behind closed doors, she would say things like, go ahead and do it, I'm stupid. She would basically kind of like push me to want to do it more. Do you get what I'm saying? With the stuff that she would say. And then on the phone, talking to the police officers or talking to the ambulance, she would act concerned and have some sort of pity and show remorse and be crying. But then off the phone, when she gets off the phone with them, she's going back to, saying things to me to make me want to do it. Because do you get what I'm saying? That's what a narcissistic mom will do. It's like they will have some sort of self-pity or pity in front of other people, show remorse in front of other people to show people how much they really love their child and how much they're concerned about you and how much they love you. And then behind closed doors, they're really putting you down. Behind closed doors, they want to see you sick. They want to see you fall. It's like, and you can't explain this stuff to people because you feel like no one's going to believe you. And so because you think no one's going to believe you, it's kind of like you just hold on to this internally. And this is why a lot of kids end up being suicidal, because when they hold on to all of this internally, and they have no one to talk to because no one believes them. Because what a narcissistic parent does is that they'll put this perception out there about you that you're a bad child. They'll put this perception out there about you that you're a horrible child and they're the best mother and they're doing the best that they can, and they'll show remorse in front of everybody that they're so hurt and they're concerned for you. And then behind closed doors, they're abusing you. They're emotionally abusing you. There's lack of love, empathy. They don't say they love you. They're making fun of your appearance. They're basically bullying you behind closed doors. And then because everyone sees you as a bad child, everyone doesn't see a good perception of you, because that's what they do. They paint this narrative the way they want people to see you. So when you do decide to say something, or just in case you want to say something, everyone already has a negative perception of you. Everyone already sees you as a bad child. Everyone already sees you as a horrible person. So now that you're trying to speak your truth, or now that you get what I'm saying, no one's going to believe you. And because you feel this way, you kind of hold on to it more. And when you hold on to it more and you go through this, it's damaging. Do you see what I'm saying? It's damaging. And because you get blamed a lot as well, you start to believe that you're the problem. Right? That's the gaslighting that a lot of narcissistic parents do. You see what I'm saying? So that's what another thing they'll do, is they'll put a false narrative about you and kind of groom others into thinking you're the bad guy. So when you finally speak up, everyone already has a perception of you. You get what I'm saying? No one wants to hear you out. So then you go years holding on to this, and then it becomes a very hard, traumatic experience, right? So another thing that I wrote down is, because they know it's your word against their word. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they always put this narrative out there. Another thing they'll do is they'll do things. It's like blessing someone in front of other people because you want them to see how good of a mom you are or how good of a parent you are. And the only reason why you're doing it is to do it in front of other people, because you're using that as a cover up to hide how you really treat your daughter behind the scenes, how you really feel about your daughter behind the scenes. Okay. So a lot of you guys may have experienced that as well. Okay. Another thing is that, narcissistic mothers are very good at being, playing victim. Okay. So making it seem like you're the one doing everything wrong and you're hurting them. They're very good at that. So I don't want to talk about too much of my experiences, but I'll say this, that there was times where I was the one that was abused, but the police were called on me, and police were called on me, and the story to the police officer was I abused her. You get what I'm saying? But it was the other way around, right? So that ends up happening a lot. Okay, where you guys would be going through it, and then they'll play victim and say it's them, you're doing it to them, when it's really the other way around. Okay, so it's a manipulative mind game tactic that's played. Okay, another thing is they're emotionally absent from you. So there's no love, there's no empathy, there's no I love you, there's no I'm proud of you, there's none of that. So growing up as a child, even in your adult years, you just feel like there's no love. You get what I'm saying? You're always getting the cold shoulder. You don't feel like you belong in this world because you feel like you're not loved. Let's just say that. Like, there's no empathy. You're just emotionally abused, put down, and you're consistently just being hurt 24/7. You're being hurt. And like I said, there's no narcissists don't have any empathy. They're very emotionless when it comes to other people. So another thing narcissistic mothers do is they try to ruin the relationships of their daughters. So if you have a relationship you have a boyfriend and you introduce boyfriend to your mom will go behind your back and talk bad about you to this boyfriend and try to get this boyfriend to leave you. Okay, this happened to me with 2 boyfriends that I brought to my mom. She's done the same thing with both, and they came back and told me, right, that she would do this. So is because what happens is, even though they were not the right relationships for me and they were not the God-ordained relationships for me, the fact that I was getting any type of emotional love from these guys, the fact, because when I have boyfriends, I don't date guys who have no empathy. So yeah, they were not the right men for me, but one thing about those two guys my ex-husband and my ex-boyfriend, is that I date guys who are not afraid to hug me in public. They're not afraid to hold my hand in public. They're not afraid to show me affection and love in public. Because that's what I've always wanted my whole life. I never got it from my parents. So I always said, if I find a husband, or I want my partner to give me that. And because narcissistic moms don't give that to their daughters, and because they lack that, they envy anyone giving you that type of affection. So if they see that there's a guy that's loving you, hugging upon you, kissing upon you, and showing affection, they will envy that. And that's happened to me, where there was lies told behind my back to these people, trying to get them to break up with me. And it was done low key, okay? And they came back and told me, okay? So narcissistic moms envy any type of love that their daughters get, because they want attention and they want love. So if they see anyone giving their daughters love, they try to destroy that relationship fast, okay? They don't want anyone giving this daughter any type of love, any type of attention, nothing. Like, they literally, it's so bad. It's like a Snow White situation, okay? Let's just say that, okay? Another thing is abuse, emotional abuse, and threats. A lot of you guys may have been threatened growing up, had emotional abuse growing up, and it's like narcissistic moms want you to grow up to fulfill their needs. Everything has to revolve around them. If it's not, the job has to be what they want you to do. The career in school has to be what they want you to. Everything has to fulfill their needs, and they have to have some sort of control. It's like they want you to be codependent on them. Anytime you choose independency, like you choose to be independent, this narcissistic mom will try to ruin any type of independence that you want in your life. They'll try to ruin it. If you have a business, they'll try to ruin it. If you have a relationship, they'll try to ruin it. Anything that you get in your life that had nothing to do with them, they'll try to ruin it, okay? They want to have control over your life. They don't want you to narcissistic moms don't want their daughters to do better than them. They don't want their daughters to do better than them. They don't want you to be a better mom than them. They don't want you to have a better job than them. They don't want you to have more money than them. They don't want you to look better than them. It's like they just want you to be lower than them. They want to be everything, right? And if you are doing better, if you are a better mom, if you are taking care of your kids, it's like they'll do whatever they can to try to destroy that. They'll lie on you. They may even call child services on you. You didn't do nothing, but they'll just do it. They'll do things to trap you into getting your kids taken away from you, just to prove a point that they're a better mom than you. Like, that's the kind of stuff y'all think it's a joke. That's the kind of stuff that narcissistic moms will do, okay? And I remember when I told my mom I wanted to buy a car, she told me the only thing I would end up pushing in my life is a shopping cart. She spoke that upon my life and basically said, I'm never going to have a car. I'm going to push a shopping cart, right? Who pushes shopping carts? A homeless person or someone that does groceries, right? So it's like, that's the kind of stuff that we go through. You know, we're always being put down. If we tell our moms our goals, it's like we're being put down. Our goals are being shattered right in front of our faces. And if we actually end up achieving it, they want to destroy it. Okay? So, very sensitive topic. Okay? Another thing is that, yeah, if they see you independent, they will try to ruin your independence. They want you codependent on them. Okay? They want to have access to your life 24/7 just to make sure they can control it, and just to make sure that you become nothing. You become nothing. And if you do become something, they want to take the credit for it. If they don't get to take the credit for it, they want to destroy it. Okay? Another thing is, a lot of them, they'll try to go and get revenge. Revenge for how their life turned out. If they see you're living a better life, or if they see that you're progressing, if they see that they can't take any credit for it, they want to get revenge. This is what a lot of us are going through right now. A lot of women who have narcissistic mothers, this is what we're going through right now. Some of us, not all of us, but some of us actually have mothers who pay witch doctors to block us, okay, to hinder our growth. Some of us have mothers who actually want us dead. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's because they want to take revenge on us, because they feel like we block them from progressing in their lives, they feel like now it's time to block us. And we haven't blocked them, but they will blame, like I said, narcissistic moms will blame their daughters for the lack of progression in their own life. They don't want to take responsibility for any failures they have in their life. They want someone to blame, so they'll blame their daughters. Okay. Another thing is not wanting you to be confident. Narcissistic mothers don't want their daughters to be confident. This is why as a young child, most of you guys, you were groomed and grown. You were basically programmed from your mother to believe you were nobody, to believe that you were dunce, to believe you were never going to be successful. You were put down as in your whole childhood, because what that does is that's to try to program you. That's kind of to try to groom you into being insecure, and to make you doubt yourself and depend strictly on the narcissistic mom for, you get what I'm saying? And because what happens when your mother keeps doing that to you, and her approval means a lot to you as a child, because you want your mom to be proud of you, so you consistently try revolving things in your life to try to please her needs, and that's how they take advantage, and that's another way how to manipulate you. So when they see that you grow older and you're confident and you're confident in yourself, it really triggers them. Okay, it really triggers them. Another thing that narcissistic moms do, like I said, is they'll end up blaming you. So if you choose to remove yourself from them and not be their supply anymore, right, what will end up happening is that they will tell people the reason why you removed yourself is because you're a bad person, or you're a bad child, or you don't honor your mother and father. Like, they will make up all these lies to make you look at the bad guy. Remember what I said before, they already put a perception out there about you. So when you do actually defend yourself, or you do talk about what you've been going through, people are not going to believe you. Do you see what I'm saying? So most of you guys just stay mute anyway. It's because of that, right? But the thing about it is that they'll make it seem like you distance yourself and you're the bad guy, right? But behind closed doors, they're the one that's putting you down. Behind closed doors, they're not telling anybody what they did. They're not telling anyone that they were paying witch doctors to hurt you, block you. They're not going to tell anyone they've abandoned you. They're not going to tell anyone that they abused you emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. They broke you down. They're not going to tell anyone that they made fun of your appearances. They're not going to tell anyone anything about that. They're just going to say that you removed yourself from them because you're a bad person. And people are going to believe that. Do you see what I'm saying? Another thing narcissistic moms do is they will start to compare themselves to you. They'll compare their bodies to your bodies. They'll compare your hair. They'll compare a lot of things. If they see that, they won't really uplift you. If your hair looks nice, they'll say it doesn't look nice. If you're wearing something that looks good, they'll say it doesn't look good. You know, so they'll like try to put you down, put down the clothes you wear. It's like they want to compete with you. Because it's everything they put you down and say that doesn't look good on you, it's like they end up going and doing it. That's how you know. They'll literally, it's like they're secretly competing with you, and you'll notice that everything that they told you not to do, they're doing it. That's one thing about narcissistic mothers that don't like their daughters. That's another thing that they do. Okay? Another thing is like, yes, gaslighting you into doubting your own memory. So, of course, being an adult, you're not going to forget the stuff that you go through as a child. You're not going to forget any type of traumatic experience. When you go through some type of trauma or traumatic experience, you're never going to forget it. But a narcissistic mom will try to make you feel like it's not real. They'll gaslight you and make you feel like it was just, you just dreamt it, or it wasn't real, or you were a kid. Like, and they'll actually make you think you're going crazy. Maybe it didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean when I say they don't take responsibility, and they'll blame you. And if they can't program you into thinking it's not real, they'll blame you for it and make you think that you did something wrong to deserve it, right? So that's the type of gaslighting that you guys will go through, okay? Yeah, another thing that a lot of narcissistic mothers do is they will try to fix their mistakes on your children. So if you end up having kids and you're doing completely different things than they've done, they feel like they can fix their mistakes on the grandchildren. So they feel like all the mistakes they've made with you, they can fix it with the grandchildren, because it's kind of like a way to, how do I explain it? It's kind of like, I'm talking about narcissistic mothers, not mothers who had problems growing up or who had issues. And no, I'm talking about the narcissists. Like, they only do it for show, because they want the grandchildren to grow up and be like, oh, I love my grandma. My grandma's the best grandma in the world. My grandma treats me so good. So if you do actually want to say your truth one day, your own child won't believe you. You see what I'm saying? Your own child won't believe you. Or when people see how they treat the grandkids, it's kind of like they will never believe that they treated you that way. So it's more just for show. It's like they use their grandchildren as like a pawn, grandchildren as like, as like a pawn, as like to show people, look, I'm a great grandmother, which means I was a good mother. Like, it's so hard to explain, but that's what happens a lot. Okay. Now, with the whole honor your mother and father, okay, I'm going to read this to you. Psalms 27 verse 10. When my mother and my father forsake me, then the Lord will take up for me. God wants you to honor your mother and father, but I'm going to say it again. Honoring your mother and father does not mean being someone's narcissistic supply. It does not mean hindering your own progression and growth to be abused emotionally, physically, and spiritually. What I mean by spiritually abused is if this person is really going out of their way to do things to make you sick. Like I said, this is something I've been battling. My own mom has paid witch doctors in Jamaica, people that, and she does it low key, know everything that she's doing, but she does it. And God has shown me numerous occasions, but I don't talk. This is my first time really talking about it publicly. I talked about it on Patreon, but people would not believe things like that, right? God sees that stuff. So when God says honor your mother and father, he's saying love them, forgive them, respect them, but he is not saying to stick around and be their supply. He is not saying to stick around and be abused. He is not saying stick around and throw your purpose in the garbage and stick around and be killed. Stick around, let this person take your shoes and clothes and do stuff. So he's not saying to do that. He's saying love them and forgive them from a distance and still see them as your mother and father, still honor them as your mother and father, but he is not saying to stick around and to be abused. Okay? God says, if your mother and father forsake you, I will take up for you. God is basically saying, I will be that mother and father that you didn't have, right? I will give you the love that your mom lacks to give you. I will give you the support that your mom lacks to give you, okay? God says this because God knows that not all parents are meant to be parents. God can see a lot of the stuff that we go through, right? So when God says you have to detach yourself from someone, he is not saying he's not saying to hate them and not to forgive, not to love them. He's saying still love them, but how do you expect to progress and grow? How do you expect to break a generational curse or a generational cycle if you choose to continue to be someone's supply? How are you able to protect your children if you don't choose to heal from this, remove yourself from this? How do you expect for that not to fall upon your own children if you keep sticking around? When I listen to God because I don't want this to affect my children. I listen to God because everything that my mom told me I wasn't going to be and everything my mom did to me, I listen to God to prove that God is stronger and more powerful. Do you see what I'm saying? But does that mean I don't respect my mom? No, I love my mom I love my mom so much. And I've always tried to make things right with my mom. But one thing I can't do is I can't force someone to take accountability for the abuse that they put me through. I can't, right? And I thought I was crazy for a very long time, and I'm not. The doctors say I'm not crazy. Psychiatrists said I'm not crazy. Teachers said I'm not crazy. I've had so many people do reports on me, and they've all said the same thing. I have a narcissistic mother. And I was in so much denial because I did not want to believe that. You get what I'm saying? And when God was showing me that she was one of many who were paying a witch doctor, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. And I can't run from the truth anymore, right? I know now. But I can honestly say that ever since I've just been focusing on me and I haven't been around, I haven't been as sick, and I've been able to progress. And I'm putting this video out there to you guys going through this to let you know that a part of healing and growing is not being in denial and to actually remove yourself from being a supply and really doing everything that God wants you to do and really just going after your dreams and not letting it hold you back. That's how you're able to heal. That's how you're able to break generational curse. And that's how you're going to be able to attract positive, good people in your life. Okay, so I gave you guys some signs. There's a lot more, but I know not everyone's going through this, but this had to be spoken of because it happens a lot. Take it to God if you're going through this and ask God what to do, and he will show you like he showed me. Okay, thank you guys for listening. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.